Okay. Hello, Internet. Jason Wilmot here, and we are doing another live today. Hey, today what we're going to be talking about is how to set up targeting for your real estate funnel. Now, I am in the business of teaching folks how to do, building retargeting and building tracking and paid ads and all that kind of stuff at HACKTICS. Nonetheless, over the past few months, we have introduced a new done for you service called Paragon Agent. It's specifically for real estate agents. And what I want to do in this video is just kind of lift a little bit, I don't know what metaphor I'm digging for here, but basically what I want to kind of show you is behind the scenes how we go and we use Facebook and how we use Instagram to go get leads for cheaper than people are getting on Zillow. So typically, I guess the best example that I could give you for this is, like if you're a real estate agent, then basically what you're doing is, you need leads, and a lot of folks use Zillow to get leads. And of course, not complaining at all about buying leads. I think that's very smart. If you can buy leads and then, if there's an ROI there, then why would you ever stop? Nonetheless, what we've done in helping our agents and our partners is get leads for way cheaper than they're getting for Zillow. And so what I want to do in this video is kind of show you a little bit of the targeting that we do. And I'm going to kind of show probably more than I should, but at the same time, the purpose of this video is to earn your trust. So if you are an agent or a real estate agent, or if you know somebody who is in the real estate agent space, and needs more leads, needs consistent conversations with folks, then that is what we are providing. So what I aim to do in this video is just kind of show you how we do this on Facebook and Instagram. And then if we have time, what I want to do is show you how to target folks using Google Ads as well. So if folks are, looking at Zillow, looking at Redfin, or looking at Realtor.com, or they're house hunting, all of these things, how do you use these ad platforms to actually go out and put your videos in front of folks? Now, the problem that a lot of folks have is, hey, we need videos to put in front of them. What do I say? What do I do? Well, that's exactly what we are selling and offering at Paragon Agent. Well, we will make the collateral for you. You simply give us some videos, you give us testimonials, we'll build out all of the angles for you, buyer angles, seller angles, first-time home buyer angles, testimonials, all of that kind of stuff that we've just kind of listened to our partners and understood, like, hey, what do you guys want? What can we provide for you? I think the biggest thing, hey guys, to those of you who are watching, if you have a question, by the way, go ahead and drop it down below. I wasn't really planning on doing a live today, but this is kind of impromptu. But I just kind of felt like, what if I could just kind of show you the back end of kind of the ninja moves that we're making here. So if you have questions, I know most of the folks who watch this are on or watch this on the replay. So this is streaming to Facebook, this is streaming to YouTube and LinkedIn. I get a lot of comments and like just conversations with folks on YouTube. So I'm really grateful for doing these things, but I know that reaching people live on Facebook and LinkedIn is really helpful too, because then you can engage. So if you have a question, if you have anything, drop it in the chat. I can see it, and then I will respond to you. So the purpose of this video, we're going to get nitty gritty. We're going to go Nerdville, and we're going to hop into Facebook ads right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to hop in. I'm going to show you how to set up targeting on your Facebook ads, and then we'll hop into Google Ads. So away we go. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to get started. Here we are. So what we're doing is we are in the back end of Facebook Business Manager. And the question is, like, well, okay, Jason, you say that you can go get leads for cheaper than Zillow. How do you do it? Well, it's pretty straightforward, to tell you the truth. Well, the first thing that I should say is this. In all of digital marketing, it really comes down to two things. You need good creative to put in front of folks, and then you need to put that creative in front of the right folks and not in front of folks who are not interested. So I cooked up this little campaign in Facebook, and what I aim to do in this is kind of build a top of funnel campaign. Now, I'm not going to worry about the campaign level. I'm not going to worry about the ad. In my opinion, the most important component of all campaign building is always in the ad set. It's who are you targeting? Now, I'm going to assume that you actually have some legit creative. So I'm not going to assume well, I'm going to assume that you know what creative you want to put in front of folks. Now, if you don't have creative and all of that, that's exactly what we do. And again, I am marketing, I am plugging our own service to do this. But I want to show you that we have expertise in doing this. So the very first thing that we do when we get into Facebook Business Manager is we need to understand who are we targeting and who are we not. Now, it's one thing that I should note about Facebook Business Manager is that I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. You know, in the days of yesteryear, or in the days of a year ago or something like that, you know, really hyper focused targeting was the way to go with Facebook advertising. It's kind of changed since then. So you want to go more broad, actually, and you want to let the pixel do the work for you. I'm pretty decent at targeting. I've been doing this for years now. This is year 6, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars online. And what I can tell you is that Facebook or Google and all of these, you know, all of these other AI platforms, the AI is smarter than I am. It's smarter than you are. Let it do the work for you. Okay. So why I stopped to say that was because when you look over here, basically, we're going to be reaching a lot of people, and that's okay. So the biggest thing that you need to understand when it comes to running ads is that time is your friend. Both time and money are you spend. The more money that you put into something, the more patterns of data that you can find. And when you find those patterns of data, if you know how to read the data, then you can just scale. So our goal here is to limit this reach. We really need to reduce it. But we're not going to reduce it down to like only 50,000 folks. So basically, one of the things that you need to do is you kind of need to determine like, where are we going to be advertising? So this is probably a zip code. This is probably something where, you know, if you are in, I'm just going to back up. If we are in a special ad category, we actually have to run it under housing. And housing actually limits a lot of the things that we can target. So I'm going to select housing, and then you'll see that our change, I guess it didn't change. So, but we have to run these under a housing category. Otherwise, we're going to get in trouble by the Facebook gods, right? So what we're going to do now is the next thing is actually really important. And this is where a lot of folks actually don't have a landing page or a website that is working for them. You see, what we want to do when we're setting up any campaign, I shouldn't say any campaign, but I want to say 90 to 95% of all the campaigns I run, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in e-commerce, whether it's in just typical lead gen, it's always conversion based, meaning there has to be an endpoint. You're trying to get the machine to do something. What are you trying to get Facebook to do? Well, in our case, when we're working with our partners, what we're trying to do most of the time is either get them leads or straight up conversations and consultations. And so a consultation is something like somebody booking a phone call with you. So what you're trying to do when you are setting up this conversion event is you're trying to train this system to go to work for you. And the more inputs that you give it, right, the more like, hey, this is a conversion. It is somebody when they schedule a call on my Calendly calendar. The more times that system gets that endpoint, that feedback loop grows really, really strong. And Facebook knows who to go hunt down. It knows not to put this ad in front of 270 million people. It knows to go ahead and put those in front of the people who are actually behaving similar to those who are converting before. So it's a really fun game, and I know this is probably nerdy, and you know this is not what people are excited about, but it's fine. Like, this is the way that I've helped work with, you know, Grammy Award-winning artists and Super Bowl halftime performers. I'm just trying to, like, 6-figure funnels, 7-figure funnels, 8-figure funnel clients. Like, I've done a lot, worked with some social media giants, not this one, rhymes with pickpocket. But anyways, the more nuance that you get with all of this, the more that you are going to understand that this data, these patterns actually work for you. And the best part about this is all really, 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 it really comes down to direct response marketing. Like, there isn't too much guessing involved. So anyways, I'm getting long-winded here. But what we're trying to do here in this conversion is we're trying to build in our pixel. So our pixel is what's listening to what's going on. And we're trying to program this whole campaign to book phone calls. Book phone calls with realtors so that they can sit down one-on-one and talk to people, because more than anything, they need to be into conversations. Let me check to see if I have any questions. I'll come back to that. Never mind. Okay, so we've got our pixel. This is, I'm not going to get too into this, honestly. We're not even going to talk about dynamic creative or any of this, but let's actually talk about targeting. How do we find folks who are actually interested in buying a house or selling a house? Well, a lot of that, the positioning of the whether it's a buyer or seller, it actually comes down to the ad angle. So what you're trying to do in an ad is you're trying to extract your audience. And by extract your audience, I mean you're trying to really pull out who you are targeting and almost repel, not in a bad way, but you're just trying to push away the people who aren't interested. If you're, if you lead off an ad, let's just say YouTube in general, if you start off an ad with a story that is going to pull everybody in, it's good for, hey, it's pulling people in, but you want to pull the right people in. So if we are, if I'm writing an ad for a real estate agent and I want to extract sellers to be like, hey, are you looking to sell your home? Are you ready to sell your home? Are you ready to see how much your home is worth? Are you curious about your home value, right? Do you want a real market analysis? Like, you're trying to extract the audience, right? And so you're doing that at the ad level. But how do you kind of determine who to put this ad in front of? Well, that is what we're going to be doing. So one of the most important things that I see on this page, and this is where a lot of folks waste their money. And I want to help you do two things right now, whether you are in real estate, whether you want a done-for-you service or whatever. Well, let me show you two things. So the very first thing is you want to dial this into people living in this location, right? So I live in Lincoln, Nebraska for the time being. My wife and I and my family are actually moving soon. So I'm going to write Lincoln, Nebraska. And we're actually moving to Puerto Rico in the next few weeks. So that'll be fun. I'll be happy to do some updates on that. But when you are in real estate, if you're in the special interest housing group, you're limited actually by a 15-mile radius. So you can't dial it in any closer than that. You can't do exclusion circles and stuff like that I teach. You're really limited, honestly. So when you are in housing, when you're in the special interest category, what you need to be able to do is really, really dial in who you're targeting and who you're not, but then really extracting your audience at the ad level. So we've got this Lincoln pulled in. We can't update the ages at all, right? So, and some people might be annoyed by that, which I am. But at the same time, everybody in this space is playing by the same rules. So that's kind of helpful. So one other thing is you're going to want to, obviously select a language. If your ads are in English, then I would highly suggest to target people who are English speakers. Then one other thing that I think a lot of folks don't, let's see, I'm not even seeing it right now. It'll pop up though, eventually. So I'm going to type in English right here. And so let's add some demographics, interests, or behaviors. Now in special interests, we're actually very, very limited. It reduces the amount of audiences that we can go after. But if I simply type in Zillow, Facebook knows who is on Zillow. It knows the people who are actually interested in Zillow. So this Premier Agent, this is primarily, I won't even go into that. But Zillow, I'm just going to go to Zillow. If we want to go to realtor.com, I know that that's another spot that people are looking. If we simply type in house hunting, that is another interest. And typically what I would be doing is I would actually be structuring this in a different way. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to show you everything that we do. But what I would highly suggest doing is, leveraging CBO. That's a campaign bidding optimization. And we're not going to get into that in this. So I'm not sure if Redfin is a target or special interests. No, it's not. If you're not targeting, so let's just stick with these because this is just kind of a good spot to get started. Now, one of the things that I was looking for, I'm not seeing it at the moment, but sometimes there is this little thing that says expand my audience targeting. We definitely don't want to do that. You can expand your audience, but you need to be careful when expanding your audience. I'm not against it. I use it when I'm doing broad match targeting, and I am probably losing people when I say stuff like that. But I'm just trying to be specific with you. what you're doing is you want to give Facebook flexibility and expand my audience, is saying like, hey, or Facebook is saying basically like, you've given us interest. What we want to do is we want to target a little bit about outside of that. So it is definitely worth experimenting with, but I wouldn't lead with that. So as far as placements is concerned, right? As far as placements is concerned, what we're trying to do with our placements is we're understanding where do we want to put these ads. So manual placements, you kind of have all of these options: Instagram, Messenger, Facebook, or you can just leave this tick to, leave it on all. Now it's totally up to you. I think the easiest way is just leaving this automatic. Whenever I see recommended, sometimes it's like, well, is it recommended? Is that just a way to keep the shareholders happy? In this case, I wouldn't mind going with recommended, to tell you the truth. I like putting it in all placements. The reason being is this: what I do when I get down to the ad level is I use things called UTM parameters. And this is a secret sauce that basically, so few people use this. It's incredible. But what a UTM parameter does is it connects the click all the way to the customer. And there's ways to pass through this information where I can understand where this ad is placed in front of somebody. Is it placed in the right-hand corner? Is it placed in the news feed? Is it placed in marketplace? Like you can pull that data out. And over time, you're going to see examples of these patterns, and that enables you to scale more than anything, right? The goal here isn't just to set up ads and run them. The goal is always to scale what's winning, optimize the spend more money, get more leads, make more money. It's always the same thing. Okay. But a lot of folks forget to put that in. So, the reason why I bounce to that is to show you, like, you can do this all placements for a while. And eventually what you're going to find is you're going to find traction on these platforms. So whether this is going to be on Facebook, whether it's going to be on Instagram, maybe you just want to create a campaign just for Messenger. Maybe it's only going to be on this audience network, which I wouldn't recommend, by the way. This is good for retargeting. I wouldn't put it on a top of funnel, but anyways, you're not going to find much love there. Now, again, this is for top of funnel targeting. So this is where we actually go out, we find folks who are interested in this message. And that is not normally like the deal. Normally you have to have 2 or 3 other campaigns after this of retargeting the folks who have kind of, maybe they've opened your ad, maybe they've even looked at it, but they didn't click through. Maybe folks actually clicked through to your landing page. They checked you out, but they left. They didn't schedule something. So there's different levels that we always set up. And I think the thing though to remember is the majority of your ad spend should always be spent on the top of the funnel, reaching new audiences, because you have to continue to fill the funnel. Like, I'm a giant fan of retargeting. I've got a $27 mini workshop, by the way. If you want to learn how to, build out these retargeting funnels and use that UTM tracking that I showed you, that's great. But at the same time, you need to fill the funnel with new prospects and new leads. And then there's this other form of targeting that we do called lead warming, where basically somebody opts into your funnel, they schedule a consultation, or they become a lead. But we know that a lead is not closed business, right? We know that a conversation is not closed business. There's time in between the opt-in and the close, or getting that deal signed, right? And so what we do during that is we have this lead warming sequence where we're trying to warm up these leads. And that's where we leverage things like testimonials. That's where we leverage things where there's like agent highlight videos to just show that you are the expert. It's kind of cheating, to tell you the truth. Like, it's just putting your best self in front of individuals and all of the good things that people are saying about you. I mean, I think we're pretty familiar with word of mouth advertising. That's kind of what retargeting with testimonials does. It's literally putting your the nice things people are saying about you in front of other folks to kind of earn their trust. And then the other thing that we do is we help educate these buyers or sellers, right? Because people want to know, especially when it comes to real estate, man. Like, we just sold our house, right? We just sold our house last week. I want to know that the person that I'm dealing with and the person that I dealt with is great. She's phenomenal. We've dealt with her for like 3 houses now, had some rentals, had some our personal dwelling. But anyways, you want to know that this person is an expert. And I think the way that people understand if you're an expert or not is if they see you kind of leading the way. And hence, that's the name why we said Paragon agent. Like a Paragon is somebody who people look up to. It's a perfect example. And so if this agent, if we can put testimonials in front of their prospects, if we can put like their educational or their tips and them trying to help their prospects, then that really, really, really helps. You can't do that on Zillow. You can't do that even on Google PPC, right? And I'm not against either one of those. But that's how you leverage platforms like Facebook and Instagram that are so content rich, by leveraging content to put this in front of them, and just, using this to all of its benefits. So that's kind of the, I mean, it's not too much secret sauce. I mean, anybody can figure this out. This is on YouTube, this is on whatever, but what I'm telling you is like, this is where I would definitely start. Now, if people want to optimize their funnel for messages, they can do that. It just depends on the realtor. Like, I think some people like getting messages in their messenger inbox. Other people want phone calls. I think that the best thing to do is to send them to your dedicated landing page. Now, the problem with most landing pages, even if it's provided for you by a broker, is you don't have these pixels and remarketing tags. So our clients, or our partners, I should say, when we send traffic to their websites, they have this pixel embedded in it, right? They have the pixel working for them. So if somebody hits that page, if they select a time to talk with this person, but they leave, we can put ads back in front of those folks. That can't really happen with a brokerage website because you don't have your own personal pixel. You don't have your own Google remarketing tag. So this comes from like years of just experience of knowing what's working and what's not. And this is why we build out our own dedicated landing pages for our partners. So this is where things actually really, really, really start to get fun, using, your content, putting your face in front of the people who are interested, pushing them to a landing page. And if they don't convert, that's okay. We can continue to remarket them in the meantime. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause here, and I think I've got enough time. I'm actually going to get into Google Ads, and this is going to be fun. So what I want to do is stop sharing just for a second. And Daniel, thank you for the comments, sir. Happy to show all of this. Like, this is kind of what I do. This is the stuff that I nerd out on. I don't know. I'm going to take a break. Going to take a swig. Here we go. Okay. So we talked about Facebook marketing and Instagram marketing. I think the most important concept here is it's not about the platform. It's about where your potential buyers or sellers are. So the reason why we use Facebook and Instagram is obviously because there's a lot of folks on it. I don't know too many folks who are of the home buying or home selling demographics who are not on Facebook and who are not on Instagram. So that's why we start there. What was I going to say beyond that? Oh, yeah. And the reason why we use those, obviously, is like people are on their devices. So basically with Paragon Agent, what we're doing is we're putting our ads, right? Our ads in front of folks on TVs, on their mobile device, which is a phone, their desktop or their computer, their laptop, right? Or their tablet. Basically, we're putting on every single device. And nothing against billboards, right? But billboards don't follow you around, right? Billboards don't pop up in your newsfeed when you're doing something. That's what we know how to do, and that's what we're excited about doing. So, okay. I'm going to just hop into this last piece just briefly. I think it's probably another video at some point because I think it's just good, useful content. But what I want to do is just give you guys a teaser here of, how, so we dialed in how to find folks who are actively on Zillow, who are actively looking to either buy or sell. And then remember, we use our ads to extract those. We use those ad angles to extract those folks. Here's some ninja. Here is some ninja when it comes to Google. So let me share my screen one more time. And we are going to get into this. So this is probably something that, maybe I shouldn't be sharing, but at the same time, I think this is definitely doable. So how do we target people who, how do we target people on Google? So let me just stop here for a second. I'm going to come back to this. One of the things that we do when we're providing the service for our agents is we are, like I said, I want to be putting their faces everywhere on all devices. And the platforms that we use are Facebook and Instagram because those are powerful, but Google is so powerful as well. And we also use Messenger, by the way. I shouldn't neglect Messenger. When I basically say Facebook, I kind of mean Messenger, Instagram, and Facebook. And basically what we're doing on our side is we're just looking at the data and understanding where are these best conversations or consultations coming from, and we spend more money into those systems. It's just like when we work with any other partner, when we're trying to scale up, we're just looking at the data and we're just spending more money where they're making more money. It's really not that hard, but it does take time and experience. So why Google, right? Well, where I feel there is the most opportunity for agents to be advertising is, well, definitely Google, but I think YouTube is just one of these giant gold mines that has yet to be tapped. And the biggest reason why is it's kind of difficult to actually use. I think the biggest reason why YouTube is hard is you have to make a video, right? You have to make a compelling video and you have to like get people to click, and they're in a different posture. They're there to consume video. They're there to consume content. They're not really ready to take action. But if you put something in front of them, they're going to watch it because that's what they're already there to do. And so the way that we really utilize YouTube is, and there's settings that you have to go through. So basically you're not charged until somebody watches at least 30 seconds of your video. And then from there, it kind of unfolds. By the way, let me say that one more time. On YouTube, if you set this up right, and this is what we do for our clients, they are not charged. Our clients, our partners are not charged until somebody watches at least 30 seconds of their video. It is literally the best money spent in digital marketing. But how do you actually put video in front of the folks who, I shouldn't show you this next screen, but I think I'm going to. How do you put videos in front of, like, how do you put advertisements in front of these folks who are actually on Zillow, on the app, right? Typing it in. Like, okay, this is what I'll show you. So I'll be quick. So basically inside Google, you can make these different audiences and you can kind of dial this in, but basically I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on this. So people, basically I can target people who, type in certain queries, realtor near me, best real estate agent, Zillow homes for sale, all of this. Like, this is what they're typing on Google, or this is the websites that they go to, or these are the apps that they're using, right? Let me say this one more time. We can literally put ads in front of folks who are typing specific keyword queries into Google, or people who are going to these websites, or people who are using these apps. So there's really, like, it's like cheating, right? So when every realtor out there, and again, I'm not knocking Zillow. It's a great app. It's a great tool. Nonetheless, if you are looking to generate conversations and consultations for a fraction of the fee, then that's where I would suggest using content marketing and funnels. It's just so that you just can't beat it, right? You're programming this machine, and like, there's so few folks out here that are doing this. Why? It's because it's complicated. I spent years doing, playing around in all of these backends, making mistakes, and that's just part of this thing. Whereas, if you're a real estate agent, what you're doing is you're out there doing transactions, and you're not playing around in Google ads and all this other stuff and going through what's recommended and building custom intent audiences and stuff like that. But that's what we've leveraged for other clients. And this is where we just see this opportunity to really, really, really help people who need this content marketing, who can put it in front of the right eyeballs, but just there's so few people doing it. So that is kind of the end of the live. Now, there's two things that I could do from here. There are two calls to action. One is well, they're both freebies. There's three freebies, I should say. One, you can download a PDF. It is a PDF called 5 Tips to Build an Unstoppable Real Estate Funnel. That is free. That is just in the link. Go ahead and download that. Just built that. It's going to be updated a little bit more. I actually did a Facebook Live or whatever, YouTube, LinkedIn, everything live on it yesterday. So I'll link to that somewhere if I can, or just find me on wherever you're watching this, just look at the latest post, whether it's on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, you'll find it. And then So there's a PDF, so grab the PDF if you haven't already. If you want to learn more about literally how I showed you quite a bit here, but if you want to know the more ins and outs, we do have an on-demand demo that you can just watch. All that it requires is your email. You're not going to be hit up by this obnoxious email drip, not yet at least, because I haven't built it yet. What you can do, though, is you can watch that. It's about 30 minutes. You're just going to learn the ins and outs of how this works and kind of our history behind, this isn't our first go around. And so you can learn a little bit more about it there. Then the last call to action is simply this. If you're ready to hop in, if you want to have a done for you growth marketing funnel for your real estate agency or your own real estate business, then what you should do is you should book a phone call. There's a consultation, and basically it takes 35 minutes, and we'll just figure out if we're a good fit or not. But the one piece of scarcity that I love to bake into things, because I'm a marketer, is the fact that we can only work with a handful of clients or partners per city and per zip, just because that's the way that all of this goes. We don't want to we don't want to oversaturate. Basically, if we work with too many agents in one area, it hurts our results and it hurts their results, and it just doesn't work that way. So if you're interested, what I would say is get to the front of the line, book a phone call, and we can go from there. So I hope you guys found this valuable. Thank you for those who dropped a comment. Thank you for those who comment after the fact. So if you have questions about this, feel free to just drop a comment. I would be more than happy to address them in the next video, or I'll address them in the comments as well. But the last calls to action, I'll say it one more time and then I'll bounce. 1, download that free PDF. 2, watch the on-demand video. And then 3, if you're ready to hop into this, if you're ready to go, just book a one-on-one phone call. It'll be with me, and then we can go from there to see if you guys are a good fit. Anyways, all right, guys, I hope you found this valuable. I hope this was fun. I'll probably be on, I don't know, later on this week doing another live. Maybe I could get into a little bit more of the Google. I would love to hear from you. What do you guys want to know? What do you want to hear? I'm not going to give away everything, but at the same time, I just feel like transparency equals trust. And the more trust that I have, the more likely we are to become partners at that point. So, all right, guys, I hope you are well. I hope you found this valuable, and I will see you in the next video. Adios, guys. Bye.